My name's John Zeno. I'm a senior here at Ohio University, and I'm going for my certificate in entrepreneurship. Our business is called Campus Delivery. We basically deliver any consumer item except for alcohol from a restaurant, from a grocery store, from anywhere else on campus, straight to your door. All you have to do is go on our website or our app, fill in the information that you want, and we bring it right to you. The Certificate for Entrepreneurship gave us a place to go for different types of resources, how to make a marketing plan, how to create a business plan, and also tons of connections. In the Center for Entrepreneurship, we are able to use the things that we're learning right now instead of hopefully using them later on in life.
All right, take one. Gentlemen, we are back. I appreciate you guys coming back down to the office today. Today's topic, go ahead.
An incredible way to kick off the day of filming because what did you just show us a minute ago?
We just watched the OU Center for Entrepreneurship, a video that you guys didn't even know existed apparently.
You gotta like show that.
Yeah, I'll cue it in. I can cue it in. It was 8 years ago.
No, you have to.
So that would have been 20. It would have been senior year when you cut it, 2016.
Yeah.
And you guys don't. Do you remember doing the filming or no?
I have no recollection of it. None. Maybe for other reasons, but no, nothing.
Yeah, you guys didn't even know it was published.
No idea.
But you did like a whole interview,
All day with
whole audio. Yeah. Did like a little cut scene doing a little dap up at the end.
I know why John spoke, probably because I was just a stuttering fool at the time. And
Yep.
that's probably why you had to.
Yep.
Probably also why you had that beard.
That's why.
Yeah, thank God you.
Thank God you
And
shaved
the guys
your
got rid of that.
I knew a mirror in my apartment.
Oh boy, it was tough. It was tough.
All right, Ben. Sorry.
No, you're good. I like that. That was a good start, a good laugh to get things going. We're back for another Deliver That Founder Series episode, and today's topic will be a little interesting because we really only have one vantage point from what you guys actually did, but I assume we can present the other side of things if you would have done things differently. So we'll see where this conversation goes, but it'll be bootstrapping versus seeking investment. Which path is right for your startup? How do we want to begin? Do we want to begin what you guys decided to do early on?
I think just maybe talking about like the evolution of our business and like when we tried to get funding and how we failed and the things we needed to do differently.
The mindset.
And then maybe even like to right now a little bit around how we invest and fund this company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when we started this business at OU, we only had like $60 cash. So like that was the initial startup money.
Mm-hmm.
And
we didn't really have to. We were just buying stuff and
exactly.
selling it basically.
I think the type of business we were in was there was very low barriers to entry. Cost wasn't really a big problem, right? If you had a car and you were somewhat mobile,
mm-hmm.
you know, you could go take a delivery and make a few bucks.
Yep.
So like our idea originally wasn't some robust, capital intensive concept. I mean, it was literally taking food or items to college kids. A lot of them were drunk. They didn't even care if it showed up in a bag or if they didn't care.
You didn't really need tech. They were texting you.
Yeah, they were just texting my phone. I mean, but
I think now, you know, if you the number one thing that sucks the most money when you're raising funds is the talent that you have to hire. You know, we didn't really have. It was us. We didn't really have talented people that we needed involved that needed to have a big salary because they had families and things.
Yeah,
wasn't really the case.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, today, you fast forward today, I mean, it's a completely different business, different people. I mean, you have real career professionals, technical people.
Yep.
And we got over 10 full-time engineer-esque people.
Yep.
But no, let's take it back though, because I think it's important to talk about our story and like through the years when we started to realize we needed to raise some sort of capital.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that line. But so we started with $60 in cash, and then as the business evolved, we realized we needed to make it easier for the customers of our delivery service to place orders, right? So we had to develop some sort of technology. We looked at leasing some stuff, and we leased like a driver technology at the time, and they're still in business. I still talk to their CEO. On Fleet, great company. They were the delivery management software we used, right? The driver app, the dashboard. You could see like people moving on a map, all that stuff.
So this the software that was onboarded when I got onboarded.
Yeah, we kept it. Yeah, we kept On Fleet for a good bit, and I think there's still a great option for a lot of different businesses.
Yeah.
But when we started to realize we had to start, actually build some technology, we had the option of raising capital or self-funding it. And we talk about, do you need to raise money or not? Time really was time a big urgency of ours in college? I don't think it was.
No. You knew DoorDash was coming.
Yeah.
Right? You knew there were other delivery companies that were going to be in the regions we were going to try to be in, but that really wasn't going into our decision.
Yeah, and it's like we weren't like threatened by any competitors. Like we figured that, rather than raising capital, because I think it was a couple $1,000s to build this website, because we went from people ordered food off of like texting my personal cell number, which was terrible, to I think we hired a student on campus who built us a website that people could order from. Yeah, and it was not the greatest thing ever.
It worked well.
It worked. Oh yeah, it worked, but it wasn't like the technology you see nowadays. Yeah. With menu management, there was no pictures. It wasn't synced in or integrated with any sort of POS system or with restaurants at all. It just allowed us to get the order digitally through a web application rather than through my phone.
Sure.
So I think that was a time where we could have raised capital to potentially build a consumer-facing product for people to order food from. And once we saw the traction with that website and how much easier it was to do business, I think that's when we started to look at our business like, hey, man, like we could probably do this at different campuses.
Yeah, because you couldn't manage it the way we were doing it before.
Yeah, no, you'd have to have. I mean, you remember us in college, Ben? Like you went to OU. I mean, we just all stitched together, thrown together.
Yep.
So I think that was the first little taste of what like real technology, some sort of technology would do to our business. So fast, right after that inflection point, it's like, okay, now the idea of raising capital to me seemed like a real possibility. Like, hey, if I'm going to go out and raise $50,000, what can I do it with? Like, what can I do with it? And that's when we started to talk to Tech Growth Ohio. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. That would have been 2015, 2016. And we tried to raise money from it's like a business incubator at Ohio University. Mm-hmm. And man, talking about how to pitch investors, it was something we had never done before.
Yeah, it was really difficult.
We spent a lot of time.
A lot of time learning how to pitch, telling them what you're going to tell them, telling them what you told them. That was
and figuring out your unique value prop. Yep. And the big thing that I think we struggled with was we didn't know when you're going to raise money, for example, okay, why should an investor invest money in you? Either one of you guys want to take a stab at that?
You got it.
I want to hear you say it.
Why should they invest in you?
Why do you invest in real estate?
I think I have trust.
I was looking for a simpler answer called return on investment. You want to make
we're going to go that rudimentary.
It's going to bring you some sort of value.
Yeah, you want to take $1 and you want to make more money, right?
Of course.
But great answer though. See, this is why John and I are great business partners. He really cares about people in a way that, I might be more of like the X's and O's guys. He's the Jimmys and Joes.
Sure.
That's why we've done such.
Jimmys and Joes. I don't think I've heard that line.
Really?
That's good. I think someone said it on Sunday Night Football last week, honestly.
Of course.
I've heard it.
Just recycling it right after you heard it.
Chris
Collinsworth,
do I have
Jimmys and Joes? Do I have any original content myself?
That's what we're trying to do here, buddy.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so an investor, when you're pitching an investor, you got to paint a picture on like, hey, I can take your money and I can make you your money plus some. And that's, return on investment. And we didn't really know how to pitch that idea, that concept, right? Yeah, and when you're pitching an initial idea or concept,
Yep.
People are taking a massive gamble on you.
Yep.
So you better show, hey, in 3 to 5 years, or this idea is going to be this big, right?
I mean, I didn't understand that you could just go invest in the stock market and get a simple return, or I could go dump it into real estate and get 5 to 10% low risk. I didn't have any of that knowledge, so I couldn't compare it in my head.
Don't you wish they would have taught us that in like high school a little bit about like
Sorry, it worked out.
just something?
But before we move like into
Well,
further in the business, I just want to pose this question real quick so we don't get too far off it. When you begin the business as a bootstrap, you mentioned only having $60 in an account, and was that a key factor in what influenced your choice, or was it like you guys said, what John just basically said, where you weren't really aware of what investment could do early on, so you just bootstrapped it out of like a knowledge base of what could happen?
I mean, to me, starting a business was bootstrapping.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought we had to do.
Yeah, remember, him and I weren't even like, there's no business acumen. There's no idea on what a business should be or not. I mean, for goodness sake, we literally used my cell phone as a method, or Twitter as a method to do delivery. We started a delivery business with no car. Like, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Clip it. To think that him and I could go out and raise money on an idea that we didn't even know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make extra money.
Yep.
Was looking back on it was insane.
Yeah.
So, our first swing and a miss at fundraising was we couldn't secure funding from Tech Growth Ohio. We were asking for $30,000, I think, for 25% of our business. And they were a tech incubator, right? So they invested in tech companies.
Yep.
And my brilliant idea of like what technology was an algorithm, was essentially an Excel spreadsheet formula that literally analyzed like 10 different data points, and that was our technology.
Yep.
I'm surprised they didn't laugh us out of the room when I pitched them on that.
Agreed.
It was so bad.
Did you guys get like
Wouldn't have been
invited
a
to
bad-
present to them, or how did that opportunity come about?
Well, it's from McKellar,
Yeah. Yep.
and he was on the board of that. He was
a
Were they board members? Is that
no.
what it
He was part of the committee that made the decisions on who to invest in.
Yeah.
So we had a great mentor at ours at OU that helped us, because we at that point, like, this would have been our junior year, maybe going into the summer of junior year.
Yeah, that's when I met him.
Yeah, when need some coffee. When we met him, and he really helped us. He made it possible for us to think beyond like just taking deliveries at Ohio University the next day. It was like, hey, this could be a legitimate business. And he helped us, coach us on the pitching process, putting together the slide deck, figuring out our value prop. But we talk about like raising money. We failed the first go at this.
Yeah.
Couldn't raise money.
Because we weren't raising it for anything of value.
Yeah, and like I think we were asking to raise capital to build the app, right? But they didn't view the app as technology, which was, looking back on it now, is like, that's even crazier. That they let us pitch a tech business on an algorithm that was an Excel spreadsheet formula.
Yep.
But we wanted to use the money to build a consumer-facing app, sort of like what our web app was, but way better, like a native mobile app. And just swung and a miss.
Yeah.
So that happened. We struck out, I want to say right before COVID in 2019. I wanted to raise capital. This was a different route. We had a business at this point. We were doing a couple $1 million in revenue. There was some traction. We had real customers. We knew what we were doing. We felt like we weren't making money at the time, though. We were still burning capital.
Yep.
So I felt like at that point we needed an injection of cash in order to keep fueling the business and the growth. That was a much different process than pitching a college tech incubator.
For sure.
Because when you're going and looking for venture money, man, they're going to eat you for lunch. If you can't answer every one of their questions to a T, if you can't paint a big enough picture, if you don't know what you're doing, they can sniff it out. I remember being at a dinner. I tell a story all the time. I think we were looking to raise $1 million or $2 million. And I didn't know even who to talk to. I thought we needed to go to the VC route, so I flew to New York City for, a few days with our CFO, set up all these different dinners, and I'll never forget one of the dinners I had with a VC. Very bright lady. She was great. She understood our business very well. She understood that there was a huge opportunity here. And, when I threw the number out saying, hey, I want to raise, I think it might have been $1 million, might have been $2 million. She started just laughing at me. Because she brought her checkbook out saying, hey, how much do you need? I'll write the check right now. And I told her the amount. And she started laughing, put it away. And I was like, what did I just do? What did I just screw up? Was it something like a one of my mannerisms? Did I say something?
Ask for too much?
Yeah, did I say
too
something
little,
wrong here?
Yeah.
Yep.
She's like, I don't write checks under $20 million. You need to spend my money.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. What did I just even try and get myself into here by raising capital from the VCs?
Yep.
And again, what was I, 24, 25 at the time? Still the CEO here. Swing and a miss. I didn't understand that world. I didn't understand the fundraising world. I didn't even really realize how to spend that money.
I mean, this goes back to our prior episode of having a network around you that actually can speak the language. We didn't have that.
Didn't have anybody.
We always just would go and try things, and we were never afraid of the results, so it didn't really matter. But man, having a network and a community around you that can teach you how to do these things and prep you for these things, that is so important.
So I'm almost on my story, Ben. I promise.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So that was a second swing and a miss, and I think after that point, we were going to go try a third time to raise capital in 2020. COVID hit, decimated the business. We were doing B2B catering type delivery transactions. The business went down 95% overnight. No one was in the office. We weren't doing the deliveries, and at that point, we didn't want to raise capital because we didn't even know what to build. So we looked internal to our business, fixed a lot of the problems. This is where it comes back to being the entrepreneurs we are, to our core. It's rather than spending someone else's dime, diluting, adding someone else to the cap table, right? Could we do this ourselves? Because we made it this far anyways by ourselves.
Yep.
And once COVID hit in July of 2020, we had one of our first profitable months. I think it might have been our second profitable month. We've been profitable every single month since then. So there has been no need to raise money any further. So we did somehow figure a way out how to bootstrap this, insulate the business enough to make money. And we have been self-funding it ever since.
Yeah, because we can't say we're experts on raising money.
No, I would say I'm the opposite of an expert. I'm a novice.
Right? Failed at it.
I'm a failure at it. Yeah.
Yep. So
You kind of answered one of the questions I had, which was just looking back, was there a point where you would have switched from one approach to the other? So basically switch from bootstrapping to raising capital, which is kind of what you're explaining you attempted to do but weren't able to. But do you think if you go to that dinner and you ask that woman for $25 million for whatever, and you say the right thing, you say the right figure, the right ownership stake, whatever it is, how do you think that changes the trajectory and growth pace of Deliver That? Do you think that ends up being extremely beneficial, or can you even picture what happens from a point like that?
A couple things here, okay? By getting the right partner to invest money in you, it can open up so many doors. All right, that's something that I think we never really ever truly considered.
no.
We always looked at it as almost like a negative thing, like diluting our business, and we're not going to be able to make money, exit for a real valuation. But
We didn't know what to do with
yeah,
that money.
and it's if I were to do it all over again, knowing what I know now, right? I can't even say that because there's no way we would know what we know right now 4 years ago. But I would say raising capital would have given us a significant cushion. John and I didn't pay ourselves more than $100 a week for 8 years,
Yeah,
7
a long
years,
time.
a long time.
Yeah. So
So,
that could have been nice.
We lived at our parents' houses.
But maybe probably would have taken your foot off the gas. You finally have a little bit of money.
Maybe.
Your mentality would have changed in some fashion. Could be positive, could be negative, but it would be different.
And yeah, there would have been this level of cushion. Hey, you've got you don't have to worry about payroll next week because you got a couple mil in the bank.
Yep.
But I think with that money comes a new wave. I'm not going to say problems, but things you have to consider. You essentially are working your partners with this VC or private equity company, whoever raising the capital from.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's new stress.
But looking back at it right now, time was never really like a huge urgency of ours. Like, it wasn't like, hey, we have to get this done in 12 months or 18 months. And raising money, the whole idea of raising capital is so you need to spend it so you can build faster, quicker, get the better talent. Like what John's saying about having capital, the level of talent we have in our business right now compared to 5 years ago, it's not even comparable.
Yeah.
It's not even comparable.
You couldn't even think about having some of these guys involved.
No.
Some of these ladies involved.
Like, I look at our dev team right now. Those guys are, I'm not gonna say freaks, but like they're wicked smart, man. Like
Wicked
smart. They're a different level of people.
And if we're able to get money in 2019 or 2020, can you even lead them? What are we even building then?
Yeah. So none of us were technical. So I think if you look at like raising capital, I would, if you have a very thorough business plan and a clear vision on what you're doing, and you feel like you need to get, some urgency, raising capital is a great idea. But if you're just a couple entrepreneurs, scrappy guys like us, that you're trying to find a market, a niche in a market that fits, raising capital might not be the best option for you.
You kind of mentioned through some of those answers briefly, I think, what this next question would lead into, but in regard to like not paying yourselves for years $100 a week or a month or whatever you guys said that figure was, living in your parents' homes, and not being able to pay for an apartment, buy your own house, things of that. I mean, Aaron's building a brand new house. I just moved to my own house at the end of this year. So I mean, we've all been bootstrapping along the lines that we've been with the business, but were there other major challenges you faced while having to bootstrap, whether it was monetary value or things like that, or I guess would you make the same choices again if you decided to do anything differently, or were there things you felt like you missed out on because you took this route?
Missed out on, of course, but the decisions that we made, definitely the cheapest, known as the cheapest guys you would ever meet, that's for sure. But we had to be, because it was just our money. Yeah, there it is.
Don't talk about yourself so bad, John.
I'm trying to at least loop you in, so. But yeah, I mean, we were just so cheap, and everything was very consciously thought of and thought through, and I stayed in a lot of Airbnbs with other people who lived there, I don't know if I would do that again.
Like those Verbo commercials that like they say like have your own yeah, no, we prefer we had to. We stayed in an Airbnb in Dayton, Ohio. We didn't even have like it was literally a bedroom.
A bedroom? Family's just living there. We're just in a bedroom.
Just renting the room.
Renting a room. Yeah. We stayed there for like 2 weeks.
One bed. That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's but okay. To answer your question though, for me, I think the route we took, it was like we had to put our egos aside, and like I can't tell you the social impact I think John and I both had from being these scrappy, bootstrapping, entrepreneurs. Like people definitely looked at us a certain way.
Well,
like we weren't successful.
Your friends in Chicago and New York making 150 grand early, having a great time, going out on the weekends. I was never really jealous of it, but I was like, oh, that is an option.
I remember
we had a degree and we could go do that if we wanted to.
I remember, man, me being at my aunt and uncle's house. They live on a beautiful golf course. Okay, it's one of the nicest golf courses in America. All right, I remember being at his house, talking to him about my business because he was a business owner and he exited. He built a scaffolding company, and he exited. And his company right now that he sold did over $1 billion in sales last year. Wow. Okay, so he's very successful businessman. I remember me trying to talk to him about my business, our business, and him saying like, I can't take anything you say seriously, or like you can come talk to me when you don't live in your dad's basement anymore. And man, the shot to the gut that was, that's what my own family thought of that of me, because I'm trying to build something and not, trying to be cost savvy and got this vision. I mean, people don't understand how lonely it is being an entrepreneur, and when you don't have all the support of funding and you're not. you know, we're not like a YC company. Like,
Yep.
like we did it on ourselves. So I think people understand, like, man, when you don't go down the path of raising capital or having a legitimate plan or vision in place,
I mean, networking is tough when you don't have much value to give.
yeah,
to the other
your
people.
mental is going to be impacted.
Oh yeah.
Significantly. I think that's why John and I, we would constantly be around each other because him and I could relate with what we were going through at all times.
And every time you'd have a meeting or you saw a commercial of catering, we would talk like, look, it's happening. Like, it is working. This restaurant has the same problem. They told us this. And that was big, keeping us positive. Because, yeah, it's just a big roller coaster.
I think one of the topics we have later on is the loneliness of entrepreneurship. So that was teed up nicely there for a future conversation. Last thing I have, and then we'll get out of here. Something I think we can call back to, Aaron, you mentioned with the incubator, asking for $30,000 for 25% of the company, things of that nature. The meeting with the woman you had in New York. I guess when you're seeking investment, you obviously have to lose control in the company a little bit, depending on how much of the ownership stake you give up. But how do you balance the need for the funding with maintaining your vision and ownership of your company? Should, I guess, you have given that stake up, or if you would have done things differently down a different route?
I think it probably depends on the desperation of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it really
Like, if
depends.
time's not on your side, then you might be willing to give up quite a bit to get it done, or else you might lose the business. So it's kind of
I think
pick your poison.
It's extremely important to vet where you're getting this money from, the institutional money. Like, do they have a good track record? Are they going to come in and flip everything upside down? Like, are they going to run your company essentially now? Like, you work for them.
Yep.
In some sense, it's always going to be true. But, like, you know, when you're raising capital, it shouldn't just be, you know, it should be a two-way street, right? You should be vetting them like they're vetting you.
Yeah.
Are these the right partners for you?
No question.
You know, like,
Yeah,
can
just
you,
as a normal starting a business with someone, you're not going to get in bed with someone who you can't trust, and it's the same exact thing. And again, we haven't done it, truly, right?
no, we've never raised a dime.
We've been approached by companies and different things, and so we've gone through the thought process of, would you work with these people? You see other decisions they make. Would you like them in the same room with you, forcing you to make a decision?
Were there any instances where, if people came to you with an offer like that, where you strongly considered it, and then there was reasons why you didn't take that funding?
I'll tell you a story right now. I'm not going to tell you the company or when it happened. We got approached to purchase the company entirely, right? John and I would have been multi-millionaires. Never had to work a day in my life ever again. Didn't take it, though. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right deal. It wasn't the right terms in place. It definitely wasn't the right partner. All right? It definitely wasn't the right partner.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at what we've built here as a group, not just me and John, but everyone, there's some incredible people here, and everyone should be taken care of. It shouldn't just be me and John.
Yep.
And, you know, we said no to that because it would have greatly affected not only, like, it would have affected everybody in this building,
For sure.
you know, potentially in a bad way. So now that's one example. I mean, there has been numerous other parties that have talked to us about investing, and I'm talking like tens of millions of dollars, potentially acquiring us. But we never, you know, there hasn't been like an official offer like this one was. I mean, it was a letter of intent and term sheet in our hands. You could see it, and you know, we said no to it.
And the desperation wasn't there on our side. We didn't have to do it.
No. Did we consider it? I mean, when you look at, you say, hey, I'm building this company. It's going to be like whatever, $100 million company, $1 billion company. And you see these numbers. I mean, the offer was not even close to that.
But changes your mind a little bit when you see that figure in front of you.
Piece of paper in front of you that's got a lot of zeros on it, and you're looking and you're like, dude, this is what we did it all for, right?
And then you're like, what did we do it all for?
Exactly.
And then you
it's
see all
like,
the people here.
yeah, it's not always been
And it
about the money
changes.
for us.
Yeah. It started with a need, right? Now it's different.
But bootstrapping this business for this long and figuring out how to be scrappy and be nimble and stay alive has given, at least, I don't know about you, it's given me the confidence. We don't need an outside party if we don't need to. We can run this business the way we do it right now.
Yep.
Still be profitable.
Yep.
still bring a lot of value, still work with great people, have a great culture in this company.
Yep.
Keep drivers happy, customers happy. Like we don't have to take money. It's because we never had to resort to that.
Yeah.
It was never a last resort. It wasn't like, oh, we need this or else.